welcome to the Christian View. Yes, thank you. Thank you for joining us today as we take today's hot topics, weigh them against God's Word, because God does have a view. And today we're going to talk a little bit about moving from a tragedy into triumph. And we're going to kind of start off talking a little bit about welfare dependency, and when something happens. All of a sudden you're down and out. You can't go to work. You've got this handicap going on. Being part of the welfare dependency, does that stop you from ever having the guts to overcome it and to get back out there and pursue your dreams and become victorious over whatever's going on in your life?
Jackie, when you brought this topic up, the thing that comes to my mind is in the Bible there's a story about a man, and he's been lame for 38 years.
Yeah.
And he's by this pool, and Jesus walks by, and you know what question he asked him? He says, do you want to be well?
Yeah.
Well, after 38 years,
Yeah.
who wouldn't want to be well?
Right.
Why would he ask him something like that?
Yeah.
And immediately the man starts making excuses. Well, I can't get in. And what does Jesus say to him? He looks straight at him and he says, get up.
Those excuses.
And walk. And I think that's what happens sometimes, not always, but sometimes we let excuses keep us dependent on why we're not moving forward. And Jesus doesn't like excuses. He says, get up.
Exactly.
Get up. He doesn't want us to lay there.
No, he doesn't.
Well, Dawn, I think that our society and our government has set up a foundation for people to become dependent on this.
Exactly.
Yeah, 46.5 million is what I got in statistics in poverty today. And 4.1 single moms in our nation. So you're right.
And did you realize that our government gives bonuses to states that for more food stamps? The more food stamps that you give out.
Right.
But, you know, I realize there's a need, and I don't want to negate the fact that there are people who are genuinely need it.
Always.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
the condition of our economy has changed. You know, just back with 2008 when we actually started having the housing, you know, the stock market crashed, the housing situation happened, and a lot of people went into need. You know, and people, that was a tragedy because people were just not prepared for it. Yeah. You know, so that it plays a part with helping folks.
Lost their life savings, you know, 401ks.
But you do take away their motivation.
Of course.
If you give them and give them and give them and give them, you'll take away their need. And are they just settling? When they could, in another way, they could get up and pick themselves up.
That's hard for me because as a women's pastor, I see so many women who are single moms. They're working 2 jobs. They're trying to go to school. They're trying to help their kids go. I mean, they're heroes. They're total heroes. And if it weren't for that assistant, which really I think, you know, that's the church's job ultimately. That's our job to do.
The way it was designed to be.
Exactly. But, you know, I just see so many women who will allow that season of time where they get assistance and then they move forward from that. But just so many people that are just totally broken. I mean, we have women who you would never know it, get out of their car, come into a Bible study at our church, and they're homeless. They're living in their car. I mean, it's just
everywhere.
devastating.
But you know
This is the United States of America.
This past year, I saw several articles about valedictorians, one from high school and one from college, that were homeless. And they were high school and college valedictorians, graduated top of their class, yet they had been living under a bridge.
Wow. So many
It can happen. I know that my husband's mother was in a situation when he was growing up that they needed the help. She was raising 9 children by herself. She was a single mom raising 9 kids, and he was the baby. But what he did see in her was her entrepreneurship. Wow. She was given an opportunity by the government to start her own business. She had worked for JCPenney's sewing drapery, and then she was given the opportunity to start her own business, buy her own machines, and the government did assist. And that's what I'd like to see our government do. Help our people come up with ways
Right.
that they can be inspired to go and raise themselves up instead of staying where they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Education is the key. I mean,
It
a lot
is.
of people
Education is.
don't know about resources that, you know, would be provided for them. So,
That's
you know, the
right.
question is, how do you get that information out there when it's not being put out there for people to have?
Yeah,
Maybe
so the
certain
women
people, but
stay in
maybe not all people.
lower paying jobs, you know, and then they're having to work 2 jobs, and the kids are having to raise themselves. I mean, I see it
Do you know
all
how
the
much
time.
daycare is?
Oh, it's out. It's
I can't even
outrageous.
imagine.
And
I have no clue
healthcare.
what it is now.
Healthcare as
I have no
well.
clue.
So yeah.
So what's the responsibility of the church? I mean,
That's a good
what's our
question.
responsibility as Christians,
That's a good
where
question.
we come into the scene rather than the government having to come into the scene all the time?
Yeah, I think feeding programs do help. I know we've seen that at our church, and I think having some sort of motivation in those feeding programs where
But the motivation's not there. Becky,
Yeah,
our church
yeah.
has done that over and over.
Yeah.
We've had people come in and need, and we do help them, but they have no motivation. I
Right.
mean, they're there to get the food. They have no motivation to do anything in life but
there's
come
no
get the food.
incentive. Yeah.
What about
I
people
agree.
discipling them while they're there? You
Yeah.
get the people
We've done
in by
that too.
offering the programs.
Yeah.
It's like they sit through it to get the food. I'm telling you, the motivation.
There are going to be
I don't
those
know.
to do that.
And there will be some, but not overall. I mean, I think, you know, really, you got to cut, like our single parents, single moms, single dads in our nation today really are heroes. I mean, they're
That is
just,
true.
I mean, they are
have it
really
hard.
strong. They do,
They have it hard.
do. And I think there is a segment of our population that deserves to be helped
I
in
do
some
too.
way. But I'd like to
Absolutely.
see the church take a bigger stand in that as opposed to the government.
Well, whether we admit it or not, churches are struggling too.
Oh, yes, they are. Yes, they are.
The people don't
When
have
you're
as much
talking
money to
about the economy crashing, you think that didn't affect the church?
Yeah, it
When
does.
people lost their retirement and their 401ks and their money's,
But
that
Jackie,
you
I'm
know
not
that
even
affects the
talking.
church?
I'm not even talking about money. I'm talking about stepping up and doing something. Stepping up and volunteering to be at that church when the meals are prepared and when the meals are being served, so that you can interact with those people that are in need, encourage them, lift them up, and give them just the spirit, because most of them are just broken. They're
completely
hurting.
broken.
They are.
Yeah.
And they actually need us to come alongside.
We worked with a feeding program in Phoenix, Arizona with our church out there that was phenomenal. We went out every Saturday morning and took food. I'd have my little kids sitting on top of boxes of groceries, you know, and we'd take the food house to house. Who needs it? You know, the heroin houses and the crack houses.
Wow.
But what we
You saw some stuff,
We
Carl.
saw some stuff, and it was dangerous. But
Woo.
what we found was if you get the people out of their environment, they have a chance to change their life.
You got to get them out of that environment.
Yeah, you got to change. You got to change the situation and the people that are around them, feeding them the drugs, the alcohol, that kind of thing.
And
And so,
you talked about educational programs. Are there educational programs that we can offer through our churches? You know, to help raise it, because we offer
Career
some financial,
counseling, resume writing.
If
all
you think
that
about
stuff.
the early church, in
Right.
Acts it says, and everyone gave.
Everyone gave.
Everyone like dispersed. There wasn't like real rich people and then real poor people. Everyone gave so that none lacked.
Yeah.
But if we're
very
being
good.
honest, we withhold. I mean, we
We're
withhold. But not everybody, Jackie. You are a generous person.
Yeah, you're
you are a
very
generous
generous.
person, but there are people that are reluctant to
Honey,
give.
I know.
We hold on to our stuff.
I know who
We hold on to our stuff.
I know the withholding. Okay.
I'm not as
Yeah, I know
generous
all
as I
about that
want to
one.
be, but I'm growing in
But you know
that.
what I think is important? I think that we in the church have to come out of the church, because everyone is not in the church.
That's
it.
exactly
You know,
right.
and you have a
gotta get
society of
involved.
people
Yeah.
who are in the world who, you know, don't understand that. You know.
Okay, we're going to have to cut it right there, but we'll be right back with more of this hot topic.